Hey, beautiful people. Welcome to our Author Spotlight. I am your host, Chantel, and I have a very special guest who will be joining us today for a very important topic. I know there are so many of you who are out there who will be watching this live and also catching the replay. And in some aspects of your life, you consider yourself a boss. Well, I want to share with you one of my favorite bosses, Garri Davis, who is trailblazing in her own right as the CEO of several six-figure businesses. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I know you're making that money on several businesses, but it hasn't always been like that. And so today, Garri's going to share with you her experience in charting some very uncharted territory as a boss, as a CEO, and she did it all in stilettos. And so I'm so happy that she is joining us. Everybody show some love to Garri Davis, and you show love by giving her some hearts, some thumbs up, because she's going to be dropping some incredible wisdom that you do not want to miss. So Garri, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate that.
And we have some really candid conversations. And so, in that same ethos, I want to invite you into our space to really share what you've been up to in the world and why today is so important to you.
So today is a special day for me because I finally launched my book, CEO and Stilettos. It had been in my belly for a long time. I felt that it was, really important as a female entrepreneur to share some of my experiences with others to help them grow their businesses, sustain their businesses, and also to build a better organization. So my history is in corporate America. I've worked for many, many other organizations trying to become someone really special, someone with a lot of authority and a lot of knowledge, and basically a go to person in someone else's business. And a lot of times, and almost every single time, I bumped my head on a glass ceiling, and I was given a lot of reasons why I would not be successful in someone else's company. They range from being the angry Black woman to poor communication skills. I didn't have the knowledge. I hadn't been at the company long enough, but many, many resources. And I would see my counterparts of different races or gender um, pass me up, even though I worked really, really hard to be successful in those organizations. And at some point, I decided that it was very important for me to work hard for myself and build my own organization and learn how to be a CEO so that I can run my business the way that corporate America worked, hire my own employees, and work really, really hard to make myself successful. And so in 2012, I started out with that, where I opened my first childcare center. I started with only 2 children, and we've grown. Our pre-COVID numbers, we were serving 150 children each day. And, after COVID, our numbers are a little bit lower, but we are still working really hard to serve our children and families each day. In addition to that, I opened my agency, the Garri Davis Agency, to help other female entrepreneurs be successful in their business and create a tribe of other like-minded individuals for support, knowledge, and resources.
Support, knowledge, and resources. And I love that you said those three things because they become the foundation of a successful business: support, knowledge, and having the right resources. If you could, Garri, enlighten us about what it was like to start out new in business and not have access to those things immediately. What were some of the experiences? And I asked you this because I want you to be transparent. I mean, I've read your book. Not only did we help publish it, but I actually had the pleasure of reading it as well. And you talked about a time where you remember starting out and you were trying to make ends meet. and you had to feed your children a meal that was less than desirable because you were trying to, save a penny in order to make a penny. So tell us about what it was like to be at the genesis of your business and not have the resources, knowledge, or support to help you grow.
Well, starting out my business, I had one specific amount of money to spend. I had a budget, and the budget was $10,000. I thought that would be enough to start my business. However, that money came and went so fast. I didn't even realize that I was running out of money. I did not have a lot of support because in childcare, especially in the area that I'm in, there are not a lot of people willing to assist you or provide you with information because they see you as competition. And so I took the knowledge that I did have, which was very little, but I did have my corporate America background, which really helped me in pushing forward. One of my bosses had told me in the past that I just needed to figure it out. And I spent the first few years of my business just figuring it out. That also meant losing money, not really being able to take care of my children the way that I thought that they should be taken care of. And the story that Chantel is talking about is when my children were eating pancakes for dinner and really thinking that we were doing something exciting by lighting some candles, sitting at the table and having pancakes for dinner. In all actuality, I was just trying to fill their little bellies up with food. So starting out in my business, it was difficult. It was difficult financially, emotionally. It was really hard, but just being able to sustain and push through is what carried me forward. And that is why I think it's really important to have the right resources available to you, or knowledge, or someone that has already walked through the mud to help you cross the bridge so that you don't have to, get dirty trying to build your business because I've already been through it. And that is one of the motivations for me writing the book in the first place, to say, hey, here are about 5 things that you could focus on immediately to help your business grow, where you don't have to spend a lot of money. And in the long run, you'll see a better return on your investments. So I think that was really important for me to do.
Thank you for sharing that. I know sometimes when you have reached the level of success, it's sometimes hard to revisit those moments when things were hard, times were tough. But that's always important for us when we come on to speak to people, is to let them know that, hey, there was a time where I was just like you, in your shoes, where I didn't know how I was going to afford to run my business and also pay my light bill, right? So I had to eat dinner with candlelight because I wanted to save some money on the power bill. So those of you who are just starting out, it's something that I want you to know, that you're not alone. And if you're in the process of thinking about launching into a business, but you're juggling between having your 9 to 5 and trying to maintain your responsibilities, there is hope. Now, Garri, you had a pretty sizable at that time investment to put toward it, but you saw that it quickly got eaten up with all the expenses. What do you say to someone who may not have a nest egg to jump off on? How do they still go and pursue their business idea without leaving their job?
Well, initially, that was my focus, to still work and look into starting a business. And that's exactly what I did. I stayed up late at night. I did research. I looked for information. I would drive around on Saturdays looking for locations, all while I was still working my regular job. Actually, it came down to a point of one day I was driving down the highway and I said a prayer and I said, God, I have so many doors open. If you could just tell me which one to go through, I'll know exactly what I need to do. And when I got to work that day, I was called to human resources. And I remember thinking, this will not be good. And as I walk to the elevator, I get to the floor of the human resources department. And when I got off the elevator, I took a deep breath because I knew how it could be walking into a room of someone else representing their company and looking at me in a way that I felt like they were looking down on me. And so as I walked to the human resources office, I told myself that no matter what happened, I was going to be poised, I would be professional, and I would not do anything that would make them think that I was being petty. And so when I got in there, I got fired. And a lot of people looked at that as something bad, but actually it was pivotal for me because my prayer had been answered. That door had been closed, and it led me to move forward into entrepreneurship. And even though I had $10,000, that drained my entire 401k plan. So it seemed like a lot of money, but in the end, I ended up with $0, 0 cents, and I was really starting from a deficit. And I mean, I wouldn't really suggest that anybody else do it that way. But if you can do a lot of research and get started before you leave your job, I think that's the best way to do it. Be a parallelpreneur until you're ready to really jump off the cliff into being a full entrepreneurship.
Be a parallelpreneur. And that's something that I think is very key, is that you don't always have to say, okay, I'm going to drop out of college and go and pursue this business, or I'm going to leave my job and just, launch out on faith. Having those core elements of faith and belief are so essential, but don't let that go and cause you to have your lights turned off. Don't let that enthusiasm and zeal for what it is that you want to pursue cause you to go into a direction that will hurt those that you need to take care of, and even yourself. So I love that you shared that, Garri. Tell us now about this whole idea of CEO in Stilettos, this incredible movement that you're starting, or that you've started, and what that means for women who are interested in going to the next level in their business.
Sure. So, as a female entrepreneur, I walked into several rooms where I looked different than everyone else. And, I'm not very extroverted, I'm more introverted. And so I had to get to a place where I had to find confidence in the fact that I knew what I was talking about. I know what I'm doing, trusting in my abilities and in my knowledge of, whatever it is that I was walking into this room to do. There was a reason that I had a seat at this table. But even in these rooms, I found that people would look down on me. I've been asked to take notes in the meeting, or when I give my opinion, it becomes an argumentative situation. And so it was really, really important to me to learn how to navigate the ocean of entrepreneurship being a woman. And the best way to do it, to me, was to always walk in the room with confidence. And to me, stilettos represent confidence for women. It helps you stand up straighter, you're poised, you look more professional. And the title of the book just came to me one day. And I thought that stilettos was a good representation of women. When you take all the parts of a shoe apart, they're not a shoe anymore. But if you take each part of the shoe and you connect it together, then you have a shoe, and it's sturdy, and it's a foundation for you. It holds you up. It makes you stronger. It makes you look more confident. And so each chapter of the book represents a part of the shoe. And so once you put it all together, you're able to walk into any room, either a break room, a board room, with anyone, and exude the confidence that you should, because you have all the knowledge and the skills that are available. You just need some tools in your belt, or some little extra push or resources, like I said earlier, so that when you're in those environments, that you are able to be the most professional that you can be, get your thoughts across concisely and clear and to the point, and walk away feeling that you've made a contribution to that environment. So that's why I thought the stiletto was a great analogy to what women wear every day. I mean, most women I love shoes. I have 100 pairs of shoes. So I thought that would be a great, like I said, analogy for women in business.
Definitely. It caught my eye. It certainly did. I mean, listen, if y'all haven't done so already, make sure you go to Amazon. And for today only, you'll be able to download a copy of that book for free, A CEO in Stilettos. Man, I mean, Garri gives so much value. So whether you're just starting out or you are 10, 15 years in the game, I guarantee you that that book is going to give you some powerful takeaway that will help you get to the next level. So make sure that you go to Amazon right now and you can get a copy of CEO in Stilettos. It is such a great resource to have. Remember, when Garri started out, she said that she wished she had three things: resources, support, and knowledge. And so she's going to share all of that with you. And it starts with you getting access to her very own book, CEO in Stilettos. Garri, what other nuggets, if you could tell us one final word in terms of encouragement to those who are watching and want to know more about how they can jumpstart their businesses, please give us that wisdom.
Well, like I said, have an agency. It's called the Garri Davis Agency, where I coach female entrepreneurs in helping them build their businesses. You know, we want to be able to make bold business decisions with speed and conviction, and I want to be able to help you do that. And one way to do that is by having some support, and that's what I offer, some support to help you along the way. You can find me on Facebook under the Garri Davis Agency, and it's also on Instagram. And I would love to just chat with you about that, just to make sure that we are compatible and a good match and that I can help you reach your business goals. So if you have any questions or you just want some additional information, feel free to just give me a call. I'd be happy to chat with you about that, and help you build your business.
Wonderful. And that she will do. So thank you so much, Garri, for being a part of our author spotlight. And you are going to be you are an amazing coach. And I'm so happy that we get a chance to be a part of your atmosphere and get the support that we need to grow our businesses as women. We need more communities, more spaces, and more leaders like Garri who are genuine, who want to not only cheer for you when you succeed, but help you every step of the way. So, man, listen, you want to go to make sure that you reach out to her, connect with her today, and you can start that by going to Amazon.com and getting a copy of her book, CEO in Stilettos. If you can't spell stilettos, like I messed up sometimes and I've been typing it in and I put more E's and T's than it need to be. So just type in Garri Davis, that's Garri Davis, and you'll pull up her book that way as well. So with that, y'all, thank you so much, Garri. Again, blessings to you, my sister. And I'm excited for all the lives that you are going to change as a result of you sharing your story.
And thank you again for having me, Chantel, and for all of your help with getting my book out here.
Absolutely. Bye, y'all. We'll see you on Tuesday for another episode of Girls Share Your Story.